Boxing truth here. Sullivan Barrera just ducked Sergey Kovalev to fight on his undercard instead. Head scratching move by Sullivan Barrera. But when you look into it, it's just simply Barrera's team or Barrera himself actually don't believe they can beat Sergey Kovalev right now. Not even for a career, his biggest payday that he can get on the table that he can get at the moment. It's just makes no sense. Otherwise, why would he not take the fight? He's not going to get any bigger offers fighting for vacant titles against guys like a Bivol or a Kovalev. He's actually gonna get less money to fight those guys for vacant straps, vacant titles, instead of fighting Sergey Kovalev in a main event in New York. Kovalev offered him the fight, offered him $300,000, significant money for Barrera. When he's actually taken fights for less, was willing to fight offer Beterbiev for only $62,000 for a fight that went through purse bid and never got scheduled. Barrera didn't duck Beterbiev. Beterbiev was going through his issues with his promoter. They couldn't put the fight together. They couldn't put the event together. So Barrera pulled out. But this is a clear duck for Barrera, not fighting Sergey Kovalev. They don't want that Kovalev work. Not even after the fights Kovalev is coming off from, the controversial fights with Ward. He's not officially coming off wins, and yet Barrera doesn't want any parts of Sergey Kovalev, not even as a main event where he'll make main event money, and a win over Kovalev for Barrera will actually be a bigger win than him actually winning a vacant world title against a rated guy in the sanctioning body. So you got to question this business decision by Barrera. He's going to end up fighting on Kovalev's undercard instead on November 25th at the theater in New York. And he's not going to make main event money, but he's going to fight a much less dangerous opponent, more beatable opponent most likely. Since Barrera ain't ready for that Kovalev work. Understandable. Kovalev is, in my eyes, one of the uncrowned kings of the sport. One of the elite fighters in the game. And Kovalev was having trouble securing his comeback opponent for November 25th. Frank Baglioni always offered to fight. He turned it down. He didn't want that Kovalev work either. Even though the payday would have been significant, it wasn't worth for Baglioni to get iced by Kovalev and not fight for a world title. So, some fighters are opting to wait for vacant world titles, opportunities to arise instead of fighting probably one of the big name fighters in the division and on a platform where you can showcase your skills and become a star if you was able to upset Kovalev in this slot for this HBO showcase for Kovalev for his comeback fight on November 25th. Barrera had his chance, he turned it down, and instead wants to make undercard type money against a lesser opponent. So who is Barrera going to fight? No idea really. He is rated in all the sanctioning bodies number 5 with the WBO, so he's not in line for a title shot there. He will have to fight Kovalev most likely for an eliminator. Not sure what Kovacevic's plans are. He's fighting on ESPN now, but Bob Arum has stated he will be open to HBO if the right opportunity came. Beterbiev and Koling are fighting for a title. Barrera is rated number 13 by the IBF. He's rated number 2 by WBA. Bivol was given special permission by WBA to fight the number 11 rated contender Trent Berthars, since Bivol's an interim champion within that organization. Barrera should have been in line for that shot for the vacant WBA title, but he's not getting that shot. Bivol will be fighting Broadhurst. So he's number 3 with the WBC. Eldor Alvarez is next in line for Stevenson's title shot. Stevenson's title for the WBC. So Barrera is not even next in line for none of these organizations' belts. He's highly rated, but not next in line. So Kovalev would have been the best option on the table for him, the biggest payday he could get at the moment. But Barrera just doesn't have the style to beat Kovalev. That type of style was tailor-made for Sergey Kovalev. It's going to take more than what Barrera got to beat Kovalev, even at this stage, coming off 2 losses, official losses. He already beat Joe Smith. He already fought Caro Marriott. Blake Caballero, no thanks. He already beat Shabransky. Boutte is faded. John Pascal faded. Fonfara is faded. Not interesting. Marcus Brown will be interesting, but he's a Heyman fighter. The only guy I can see him fighting is Mike Lee, the American Subway guy that does Subway commercials. He's rated. He's undefeated. Perhaps he'll step up. He would be an opponent that makes sense for Undercard on HBO. There's also Felix Valera, who has 13 KOs in 16 fights. His only loss came to Dmitry Bivol, but he has a fight scheduled for around the same time frame as the Kovalev comeback fight against Shabransky. So, limited options for Barrera's undercard slot. He won't make nowhere near what he was offered for Kovalev. Might not even make 100K in terms of guaranteed purse, but it is what it is. Barrera had the opportunity to fight Kovalev, chose not to. Instead, wants to wait for a vacant title shot against a lesser known name and even less money. The best he could hope for is a shot as Adonis Stevenson, but he's rated number 3. So there's a couple of guys ahead of him, so he could be waiting for quite some time. I just don't see where the opening is for Barrera, where the title shot is for Barrera. He was probably hoping for the WBA to enforce Bivol and against himself for the title, but that went by the wayside. Plans got scrapped there, so let's see who Barrera ends up fighting next, and for his sake, it's not a mistake if he ends up losing in an undercard slot for a lot less money instead of a chance of a lifetime against the biggest name in the division. It's Sergey Crusher Kovalev. But this is the path you chose, Sullivan Barrera. Let's see if it was the right path, the right choice, not fighting Sergey Kovalev on November 25th. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.